What's good, everybody? It's Batman, and we're going to be doing a reaction video today for more Naruto. I know you guys love Naruto content, so that's why I continue to do it for you. But, what's it called? We are reacting to one of the other greats that has been having a really good start, and has been even titled and called the next generation for Naruto scalers as well. But it's one of the dudes. You probably heard of him. If not, definitely check him out. He has all kinds of good content, and Naruto especially as well. But his name is Sage of Thick Calves. And this also has Six that's featured as well. So shout out to Six. He's apparently in this video, so he's already doing collabs with a lot of known content creators, or at least more known. But we're going to be getting into it. And speaking of content creators, as always, I have Mr. Ken Rock with me today, because I know you guys like to enjoy him to be along on certain reactions or even videos. So we got that going on. I know you guys have been requesting Jay as well. That will happen, but he is a very busy man. So what's it called? You get what you get, okay? But we're gonna be getting this going.
Damn, actually, I'm just second to Jay, huh?
Hey, it's fucking funny though, bro. People be commenting and just wanting me to do duo stuff with Jay all the time. Like, they like you too. Like, there's a good amount of comments with you, but it's been a lot more requests for Jay lately. I don't know why, but
no, it makes sense. He's a bigger YouTuber. I'm not actually offended.
Yeah. To be fair, it's been recent, that's what it's been, but way back then and before, it was always just between you both, like, the same. But all right, but we're gonna get into this, and this title of the video is Kakashi versus Minato form by form, and we're gonna see what it's about. Now, I think the obvious answer for me and Ken, for the most fucking part, Minato just slams 9 out of 10 times. I think the only most debatable one would simply be War Arc Kakashi against certain forms of Minato. That I could at least understand, but I'm going to be real with you, even physically wise, Kakashi is really not great. His only main weapon and threat is his combo. That is the only thing that actually has, like, insane feats in the War Arc. It's not really his physical feats and what he's able to do, like, on the move. So, but that's just me personally. But I'll obviously mention more and talk about more and discuss more depending on what they bring up, because nothing but love to Sage, but that man be putting Kakashi at a really, really high pedestal or really high scaling when it comes to the War Arc, even in physicals, and I don't necessarily agree with that. But anyways, let's get it. Let's see how it goes. And we all know Six is a Minato guy, so I can kind of foreshadow where Six is going to be more on Minato's side for the most part, and he'll probably be on Kakashi for the most part, unless it's obvious that Minato takes it, right? You know, so, but let's get it.
The most powerful and iconic characters in all of Naruto. From being heroes in multiple wars to leading their respective legendary Team 7s, Minato and Kakashi have a lot of similarities. They also just so happen to be on the same team, with Minato being Kakashi's Jonin team leader. However, aside from some of the Bell test footage from Naruto Storm Generations, these two are never shown to face off against one another, despite Minato being the person Kakashi wants to fight most according to the data books. So, in this video, we'll be talking about how a battle between these
that man would get an ass whooping every time.
two legendary shinobi would go, matching them up by versions. In other words, today we'll be exploring and breaking down.
Like, bro, like, Ken, let's be real, man. Like, Kakashi, bro, Minato is his leagues above him throughout the entirety of fucking Naruto. Like, it's just, that's just how it was, bro. Like, and you could blame it whether if you think the Sharingan hindered him or not, or stopped his, you know, whatever, but either way, we just, going off what we have in the show, like, from part 1, even as a kid, even as Anbu, even when in Shippuden, bro, like, the dude was just he was just never on that same level as Minato, man. He just wasn't. Like, look.
Form by form.
Stipulations.
Before we dive too deep into these
What the fuck does that mean? I forgot what that means, stipulations. What does that mean?
Generations?
No, stipulations.
Stipulations is a criteria within a fight.
Okay.
First,
So,
we
like,
need to
good
establish
example,
the
like,
stipulations and
So it's
Did you
just,
see the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight?
yeah. It's basically having conditions. What you're getting at.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you get that.
Yeah.
forms we'll be using here, but more importantly, I think I should tell you guys that I'm not going to be doing this alone. Today I am joined by a very special guest. He is one of the best anime YouTubers in the game and just crossed 100k subs. He really requires no introduction, but I'm gonna do it anyways. So today I am joined by none other than Six. Go ahead and say what's up, bro.
What's up, man? Fantastic introduction. Yes, I did recently hit 100k.
Congrats to Six for this, and you know I look forward to the million sub plaque. You know, it's coming soon. But
Of course.
do you want to take them through sort of what we're gonna be doing in this video?
Yeah, obviously we're not going to be writing any like Kakashi versus Minato fan fiction. We're just going to be putting them up against each other, seeing how their stats compare and how a fight would realistically go. As far as how these two meet up in specific points in time, whatever, you can come up with that on your own, use your own imagination. We're just going to be talking about what would happen if Kakashi fought Minato.
Yeah, babe, that YouTube Red, man.
This motherfucker said ad sucked. Then why are you showing me a damn ad, bro?
And how they compare to one another.
Yeah, so hope you guys are excited. I am. I think it's going to be a good video with a lot of great matchups. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the
Great matchups. I'm be real, bro. What's it called?
Part 2.
Yeah, I'm be real. The fact that this video was 26 minutes long has me a little concerned because this is very, very one-sided for the most part.
So our first one is Kid Kakashi versus Kid Minato. And for Kid, quote unquote, it's 12 years old and younger. You want to kind of talk about how you think this goes and how these two would match up?
Yeah, so for one, just get this out of the way. Minato at 10 or so years old, he's still very impressive. I mean, obviously we know Minato has been stated to be an unparalleled talent, or stated to have unrivaled strength, whatever. He's very talented, so it makes sense that...
This is kind of unfair, though, because from my memory, though, like, Kid Minato doesn't really have a lot. All he really has is, like, some very rare instances where he's mentioned in the manga, and then, like, I think the anime where he's rescuing Kushina. Like, that's... Or Kushina.
Yeah, he flipped 3 Jonin, I want to say, before they even know what's going on.
If they were Joning, then he absolutely is above Kakashi. But if they were not Joning, then Kakashi probably
They were
takes this.
Jonin or Genin.
Okay.
They were one of the two. Either way, he's
Young-
too fast for this Kakashi.
Okay.
Especially considering that this Kakashi doesn't even have a lightning blade.
Well, they showed him with a Sharingan. They said Kid Kakashi with the Sharingan. Yeah.
He still probably loses because he's way too cocky.
Well, not even that. If you're way faster, then it doesn't matter if you have a fucking Sharingan either, because you know the statements and the feats. So you have Killer Bee and Rock Lee to show that. But
age, he would be somewhat impressive. And the earliest iteration of Minato that we have or know about is when he was in the academy and he actually stopped 2 Jonin from the Cloud Village from abducting Kushina.
okay, you're right.
He's been very strong even since.
So in the manga, well, the skin that they're showing doesn't say they're fucking Joning though. Hang on.
So he's been
They
ever
talk about it when they actually
in the academy. And
Yeah, because see this moment, what I remember, they showed this in the manga, but in the anime it shows the whole fucking thing, you know. So, but even they said 2 Jonin.
They were
So
Jonin because they were,
yeah.
they were meant to go capture the Nine Tails.
Yeah, well, yeah, you don't want to send some fucking bums to try to kidnap a fucking Jinchuriki. Like, yeah, so you would think they would probably try to send their best, right, or something. And based upon, because you are right, I remember that he was over here he just came up and one-shotted. And I don't want to hear the whole excuse like, oh, they're off guard. Wait. Joning, nah. If they're going into enemy territory, invading, kidnapping a Jinchuriki, they're gonna be on guard. Like, I don't want to hear that shit. You know how many times Joning are getting ambushed or whatever, and they're able to respond and react, whatever, and you name it the whole 9? I don't want to hear that bullshit. So,
stopped 2 Jonin from the Cloud Village from abducting Kushina. So he's been very strong even since his days in the academy. Or I think that actually might have been a little bit after he got out of the academy. It doesn't matter. He's been very strong even far before he was.
Shit, this would have Minato even above Kid Itachi as well, because Kid Itachi, he was Joning level, but he could compete against him. He didn't just like straight up one-shot or blitz, you know? The lower level of Joning he could, but But when it came to like either middle or like even higher, like he wasn't built that high, you know. The only issue with this whole Joning thing too is no, because what everything me and Ken just said, it would more than likely be their strongest Joning in the highest level. Even though I know that Joning levels can differ from, you know, Konoha to other villages, like you know, like the fucking lower levels of Joning or middle could like compete against the elite of the Sand Joning, but the elite of Konoha Joning are even way above the Sand Joning. So that's where it gets really contentious and confusing. But either way, all I'm gonna.
If I remember correctly, Kakashi almost lost to an Earth Getting.
Yeah, like the problem with Kakashi is all the Jonings that he fought with the stone and even other nations, it was still part of the same enemy. You get what I'm saying? Like the Jonings that Minato took out, I think were from the Mist Village. I think I'm correct on that. I think it was. No, I don't fucking know, man. Was it the stone or the mist?
Oh, those were stone.
Those are stone that Minato took. Okay. So yeah, so again, like that's even worse. So like Kakashi, he's blatantly struggling to fucking Jonin Stone Ninja, while Minato just takes care of them like they're nothing. You know, so again, it's just, you know.
So they weren't even Jonin; they were tuning, not tuning, getting. No.
Oh, no. In the war, they were Jonin. In the war, they were Jonin. It was stated and shown.
Were they? I could have sworn they were throwing out everything between tuning and Jonin.
No, they were all Jonin. Kakashi was promoted to Jonin. And he, the first person they fight was a Jonin, and then the next two that they fight were also Jonin. Rin got dealt with immediately, but Kakashi was able to fight with him to a degree. Obito, he also scaled in that sense too, but
okay, I'll take your word for it. I just could have sworn they were not Jonin. I thought they were Jonin for some reason, but no, that's fine. That makes sense as well.
Yeah. But either way, it doesn't matter. He struggled, you know. So
yeah,
I think the important, or I guess not important, but the really interesting stuff comes from when we talk about Kakashi at around this point in time, because we don't have a lot of content on Minato, you know, prior to him being Hokage. In general, that specific part of his life is just like sort of a mystery. So obviously the majority of this conversation is going to be about Kakashi in the first place. Sage actually broke down to me, because I was originally thinking Kakashi's 12 when he became a Jonin. That's just, everyone said it ever since I watched Naruto. I just ran with it. Sage has his own reasons why he thinks Kakashi was a bit younger during the battle at Kanabi Bridge, and I think it makes Kakashi a little bit more.
Well, hold up. It was stated, I have to find it, but it was stated that Kakashi's the youngest Jonin. He was the youngest age to acquire Jonin rank. It doesn't mean shit because what's it called? Because you're accomplishing Jonin rank at like, you know, that doesn't mean anything. But, and I can go on that for many reasons. But what's it called? But either way, all I'm getting at is like he had all day, every day, hands down, as an accomplishment. He, like, everything that he accomplished, he was the youngest for every single thing you can think of. But he kind of had like advantages and benefits though, because they were in war times, whatever you name it. They really needed ninjas, so on and so forth, the whole nine, blah, blah, you know. What's it called?
The White Fang.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and that, yeah, with the legacy and everything. So, like, Kakashi had a lot of benefits and technically incentives for him to be promoted so early as well. Because I'm going to be real with you, like, with his mentality and his philosophy on things and how he even labeled and thought was completely against the regulations and morality of what it takes to be a Chunin. So, again, it was like, if they were actually sticking to their core values, whatever, etc., he would not have been fucking Joning at that point. If anything, he probably wouldn't have even been a Chunin, you know, because of how he was with his mindset and whatnot. And he didn't give a fuck about comrades. His whole thing was the rules and the mission first, and that's not what makes a Chunin. So, anyways, but just kind of putting that out there. But
impressive. So you can tell them all about that.
Yeah, for sure. So I break this down in my Anbu Kakashi video, but essentially, like the cliff notes are, you know, whenever Minato is talking to Obito about Kakashi kind of being a douche, he says that he wasn't always that way and that he became that way after his father passed. Now, we know that Obito says that like Kakashi's always been this way to him, and we know that they knew each other in the academy, and Kakashi's 5 years old when he graduates from the academy. So there's no way that you could get him any older than 10 here if there's a 5-year difference between the latest point they could have met and that point in time. So Kakashi must be 10 years old or younger here, which is super impressive because this is when this absolute mutant of a child not only has the Rasengan in his bag, also has developed an A-rank jutsu in the Chidori, likely has 2 or more changes in chakra nature because he's a Jonin, and like folds this Jonin called Kako from the...
That's not... Yeah, there's no way to confirm that. There's absolutely no way to confirm that. What's it called? Because the problem with Kakashi is... like, there's nothing even like to even determine whether or not if he had close relations with Minato or even knew a lot about Minato, even with the Rising On, you name it. Like, that's a whole other can of worms, and it's extremely vague of what we do know and what we have. There's nothing to support that he could have the Rising On. Maybe, but we don't know. You know what I mean? Like, and another thing to think of, I think it's more to the contrary, because why would he be using fucking Chidori? You know what I mean? And then when he's told by Minato, hey, don't use it because you can't, you know what I mean, yada yada, he would just start using the Rasengan, right? Because that doesn't require technically a Sharingan, you know? But he was still, you know, like, couldn't do shit, right? He had to resort to his Earth style, whatever, blah, blah. So I think there's a lot to the contrary of him definitely not knowing Rasengan, being able to do it, you know? We don't know when he did it, you know? But, so yeah, I don't agree with that. But as with everything else he said, yeah, that's true, that's fine. What's good? He definitely, the 2 chakra natures thing, it's possible that he does, but at the same time, again, where it gets really questionable is because since they were in war times, whatever you name it, and they were just kind of fucking just promoting people and just trying to get, you know, whatever, blah, blah, there's a possibility that he may not have known 2 natures and only knew 1. You know what I mean? What's it called? Actually, I'm fucking being an idiot. He did. He knew lightning and earth style. I lied. Yeah, fucking lightning was his shit, and then he always did earth style jutsu. So he did. Yeah. So that's fine as well. But either way, yeah, the Rising On, no, that's cap. But do you have anything count or no?
No, I have nothing to say. Actually, the only thing I'll say is it seems like they're going through the idea of that plot hole that was being talked about the other.
Yeah, the thing that one dude brought up. Yeah, that's another thing I can't really like get on. I would have to look at everything. I would have to look at the data books and the whole manga and really, really make sure there's, you know what I mean? Like, so I can't really comment on that. So I'll give him the whole age thing, whatever. I don't really care. But either way, age doesn't fucking matter. Age has never really been a deciding factor in Naruto to begin with. You know what I mean? It boils down to the feats and statements at the end of the day. So another thing he did say that I don't fully agree with, he struggled with that dude. Because he just said that he just easily dealt with him. That's not fucking true. He literally had several exchanges in Taijutsu the whole time before the Sharingan. Yeah. What's it called? Yeah, that dude. The guy on screen. And then when Obito unlocked his Sharingan, they had to do a 2v1, and they still couldn't beat him or do anything. But Obito did his precog and created an opening, and then Kakashi let in a blow, but he didn't even kill him, you know? And then the dude wakes up, he does an earth style jutsu, which fucks up Obito, and then, you know, that's where you have the whole fucking event that happens, whatever you name it. Kakashi gets the Sharingan, then they do a Taijutsu exchange. While he has the Sharingan, he still can't kill him, does a Chidori, and then he was successful on the second blow. So, like, that whole, like, oh, he just dealt with him easily, that's not fucking true. So...
Stone, who's stated to be extremely powerful. So, like, an extremely powerful Jonin would suggest that he's at least a little above average for the Jonin tier, and this 10-year-old kid Kakashi, fresh Sharingan, is able to basically two-panel this dude. So, we know that...
What's up?
You don't mind. Because even if I were to sit here and give them everything for that one, Naruto still dealt with like 2 of these guys with like no diff.
Yeah, literally, no diff 2 Jody from the stone, the same village.
So like if this is impressive for Kakashi, then it's more impressive for Minato.
Exactly. So I hope they don't really forget that, you know, like, or Kado. It's kind of like seeming like they're leaning a Kakashi right off the whip, but they haven't talked about Minato just yet. You know, they talk about him a little bit, But then now they're going to Kakashi and really glazing him and whatnot. But again, like, if you guys go through the manga and even the anime, like, that Kakashi struggled with that motherfucker, okay?
Like, at 10 years old, he's hyper impressive. But then you give him another 2 years of like wartime experience, an additional tomo on his eye after Rin's death, and then at 12 is when he actually joins the Anbu.
So they're doing okay. So I thought they were doing just 2 tomo Kakashi, but they're doing 3 tomo as well. Okay.
Well, you can make some really high assertions.
Wait, but Kakashi doesn't get the 3 tomo until Rin, right? When she dies? Yeah. Yeah, because it goes from 2 tomo to 3 and then MS.
Right away.
He only had 2 tomo in the war arc. In the stone war arc.
How long is the time frame difference between when Obito gets crushed and saved by Madara and he sees Rin die?
I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
That was only a couple of days.
What's it called? Yeah, because I don't know how long or what the time skip was.
A couple of days because the Stone Ninja had kidnapped her.
Yeah.
The 3 tails in her so that that way she can be used as a weapon.
Yeah.
That she dies on the way there.
Okay.
So it's within a couple of days.
Okay, days. Either days or weeks at most, right? You know what I mean? So like, either way, like it's not that long. I would assume maybe we could be wrong, guys. I'm not gonna fucking sit here like I know. I would have to look into everything, but either way, from how we remember like the everything how it connected, then yeah, it would make sense for it to be days or weeks, but either way, fucking yeah. So but they're doing 3 tomo Kakashi as well, which that's kind of like that's good and all, but again, Minato still has the speed discrepancy, you know. So like, and we know how the Sharingan works. Like you can have precog or whatever you name it and be able to see something, but if your body's not fast enough, you still can't do shit. You can see it, but you can't react to it, you know. So, but.
Minato at this point in time, based on like Jiraiya and Tsunade's statements, we just don't have.
I will say this though: if they were equal in speed or at least relative, then Minato's fucked because he's not beating 3 tomo precog. 2 tomo, that's possible, but 3 tomo, no, he's not beating that. That's fucking strong as shit.
Sand in his eyes.
Yeah.
And think about it this way too: if Minato had more talent than Kakashi, but Kakashi was still ultra talented, and he's put in a pressure cooker of like wartime, right? Like he's out on the battlefield at 6 years old when he becomes a Chunin. He's obviously going to grow at a faster rate because he's being forced to. So I don't think it's like really a slight at Minato to say that 12-year-old Kakashi is stronger than 12-year-old Minato, because he kind of had to be, you know. So yeah, I think Six and I are both of the opinion that because of all of that, Kakashi should win this because he has the higher assertions. Did you want to have anything else to add there, or you think we're?
Yeah.
So if it's like Kid Minato, again, I would have to really look through because that's where my vision kind of gets blurry, but we do know that the fucking Stone Village tried to come through and kidnap a Jinchuriki and invaded the Leaf, you know? So there clearly was political tensions and clearly a lot of shit going on behind the scenes, so, you know.
I know it's not until, like, around, like, the time when Shiburuzen becomes, like, the Hokage that they even start, like, pulling back on, like, the restrictions on, like, what it would take to become a Jonin. Not pulling back on, making it more strict.
Yeah.
They didn't want as many kids dying.
Yeah. What's it called? But all I will say, though, is Minato came first. You know what I mean? Like, so, and if it, like, I'll say this. Like, the problem is we have a lot more emphasis on a lot more screen time with Kakashi in comparison to fucking Kid Minato. That's kind of, like, one of the issues. What's it called? But, like, the only thing you can really advocate for Minato is, like, if it was really, really bad when it was around Kakashi's time, maybe it could even been worse with Minato. You know what I mean? Like, we don't really know, but it could have. You know what I mean? Like, because if it was fucking shit with Kakashi, like, with that generation, like, I could only imagine what it was like before. Like, bro, look at the Sages, the Senju and the Uchiha. You know, all of that and how bad it was. So, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of ways to argue that a pretty high probability that it was either just as bad for Minato or maybe even worse. Because the way Naruto was always, empirically, like, structured, like, throughout the whole narrative, is it went from really bad, from the first generation, really, really bad, you know, and then it gets less and less and less bad, right, throughout each generation. So that's all I'm getting at. You know what I mean? And that's just been blatantly, consistently shown in Naruto. It was the worst with Hashirama and Madara. It was really fucking bad still with Tobirama. And then Hiruzen gets involved. Still really, really bad. You know, so I don't know. I feel like that's not really a proper or strong way to really gauge that. But either way, it's kind of contentious in a sense. Either way, what we do know for a fact is Minato still performed better. He dealt with 2 Jonin effortlessly while Kakashi struggled with 1. So again, I'm not really understanding. My bad. Kakashi struggled with 3 Jonin. The first Jonin was a Shadow Clone specialist, and he would have been either killed or severely injured if Minato didn't save him. The second Jonin was a guy that could camouflage, and like he was reacting to him here and there, but they were like still equal to each other, whatever. And then because Obito wasn't paying attention, Kakashi took the hit, and got his eye cut. But that's the second, and the third Jonin was the fucking Blade dude. So like, I'm just saying, like
yeah, one of them he needed someone else to help him fight as well.
Yeah, he needed Obito to beat the Blade dude too. So like, I don't know, bro. Like,
Obito just has the better feat anyway.
Yeah. Like I'm just saying, like Minato just did better. They even acknowledged it. They said Minato beat 2 Jonin. So to me that's just objectively better. But whatever,
I have a little bit more justification as like to Kakashi being stronger than Minato, and the implications that what that could mean. Obviously, we all think Minato's more talented than Kakashi, because even when Minato's 24, he's stronger than Kakashi was at 30. That's pretty obvious, right? So you would expect whenever their ages line up, Minato would be stronger than Kakashi. Not only is it him being put in a pressure cooker with the war thing that we're talking about, but Kakashi actually does things outside of his potential as well. He creates the Chidori, which is a jutsu that he is not capable of using.
A one-shot novel. How old was Minato when that happened?
I don't know. I know he was fucking young as shit.
He was like 15, 16, right?
I honestly would have to look. All I will say, because I was thinking of that too, if that Minato is the same one that they're talking about, then this is without a fucking doubt, like, blatantly Minato slams. Like, especially because of one shot. But that could maybe be an older kid Minato. But
he's older than what they're talking about, but I think it's only a difference of like 3 years.
Yeah.
In Naruto, 3 years can make a lot of difference, but realistically, at that point in time, when he's 12, he has the fundamentals more than likely down. Would become like 15-year-old Minato. The same one that was like holding hands with the Nine Tails.
Yeah. No, exactly. What's it called? So yeah, there's that too.
We still made it nonetheless. And then he got the Sharingan on top of that. Though that's a thing that has nothing to do with his talent, nothing to do with any of his genetics or his genius. That's just something he was gifted, and it allowed him to.
No, that's definitely talent. No, Shidori is, because it's one thing to know lightning style, but then to create that.
Sharingan.
Yeah, and actually, hang on a minute. Minato would have the Rising Gun as a kid. And the reason why is because the whole reason Kakashi created the Raikiri or Chidori was because of Minato's Rasengan. He was trying to do the same thing, but he ended up with the Lightning Blade instead. So this kid Minato that they're talking about also has a Rasengan. Just putting that out there. But what's it called? That was the whole reason why he developed that jutsu. So just saying. But what's it called? So like yeah, Minato still has a Rasengan as well. But either way, with Minato having the Rasengan, then that means there would be a correlation with the one shot too. Like, right?
Yeah.
Like, I just thought of that. like if you guys go back,
12-year-old.
Yeah.
12-year-old Minato wouldn't have the Rasengan.
What's it called? The one during like the Kushina incident?
No, he wouldn't have it.
Okay. What's it called? Oh, so they're doing like
the Rasengan.
So what they're doing is like the youngest Minato, and then they're doing like a mid high age for Kakashi, I guess. Because
Basically 12 to 12, so like
your thing is
it's like 14 and 15.
your thing was lagging, bro. What'd you say?
Minato develops around the age of like 14 or 15.
Okay. Yeah, no, because honestly, what they really should have done for this matchup is they should have done young to young. Like, young kid Kakashi without the Sharingan and young kid Minato. Then do Kakashi with the fucking Sharingan. That's fine, right? And then go from there and up, right? Like, I don't know why they're kind of like... This is more like technically favorable for Kakashi in a sense, but again, like, if we backtrack, that very young kid Minato, again, he knows...
Matching it up age to age. It's weird.
Yeah, but either way, that Minato no diff 2 Joning, bro. Like, I'm just saying. Like, but anyways.
Something that was completely outside of his current potential. Right? So
Yeah.
It's like he said, it's not a slight at Minato or anything to say that Kakashi is stronger than him at this point. And like I said before, anyway, this part of Minato's life is not highlighted at all as to his prodigal nature and how strong he would eventually become.
That's true. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it's perfectly fine saying Kakashi could take this round.
Yeah, I mean, for all we know, the 12-year-old Minato might have already mastered Sage Mode. We just don't know. But
Yeah.
because we don't have any information on it, we have to go with the guy who we actually have information on. So, Kid Kakashi takes the first round, and we move on to the second.
Yeah, like I can't really fully agree with that because to me it's just objectively more impressive. If he's beating 2 Joning and no diffing them, and that Kakashi with everything they talked about, that's all great and all, but he still struggled with every Joning he fought. So I don't know, but
The Sauna, AI teammates are here to
I'm
help
surprised
you stay on track.
6 didn't bring that up.
Try it for free.
Quick test. How does it sound?
Teen versus teen now, so it's Anbu Kakashi versus Teen Minato. This is blatantly Teen Minato. If they somehow advocate for Kakashi, that's just insane. Like that, I wouldn't even expect that from 6 either. So, Teen Minato is a fucking monster. That's the guy in the one shot. So, man, that's Flying Rising on. Like, come on. Like,
Compared to Hashirama.
yeah, like fucking had a full battle against Kuramatu, even though he had help from Kushina as well. But Kakashi's not replicating shit like that. Come on.
Now, this round is probably more interesting than most people would think. But with this matchup we have is Teen Kakashi and the Anbu versus Teen Minato from the one-shot manga.
I'm a little concerned. He said interesting. Like, meaning that would imply that they would have similar stats or some shit, and it just boils down to abilities. Again, I don't know about all that.
You want to get into how like convoluted this is and how weird it is, and like sort of what you think?
Yeah, so for one, we have to talk about age again, obviously. Minato in the one shot, he has to be...
I'm gonna say this again. Age doesn't matter though. It doesn't, because we've had age throughout Naruto the whole time. Someone could be a grown-ass man and struggle to a freaking 8-year-old as a ninja, whatever, and then vice versa. Like, age is a non-factor, dude. I understand they're both 2 geniuses, but that doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, one's gonna be more or whatever. Like, that's just not how that works. So
That's one of the first things Kakashi says to Naruto is there a ninja in this world younger than me but stronger than me.
yeah, exactly. Like, that's just not. So again, that's a non. I don't care about that shit. I don't know why they keep bringing up age.
Or younger. There's a 10-year difference in Kakashi and Minato's age. Kakashi graduates the academy at 5. He's not graduated in the one shot because we don't see him with his headband on. But he does know Guy and Obito, and we know he met Guy at sign-ups for the academy. He doesn't look too much older than that point. So you could say Kakashi's probably around 3 or 4 here, which would make Minato around 14 or 13.
This is, and the thing about Kakashi as well is, like, according to the Itachi Shinden novels, he joined the Anbu at 12, and he was in the Anbu until he was at least 21. So, I mean, we're saying Anbu Kakashi, but, like, it's weird because the statements we have from his Anbu days are very general. So whereas we have like direct concrete showings and statements about this version of Minato. So the way that I look at it is, and again, I detail this more in my Anbu Kakashi videos, so definitely go check that out. But the high-end assertion that you can take from the Itachi Shinden novels is that at some point in the Anbu, whether it's 16 years old whenever he's the captain of his own unit, where Mukai Kohinata is below him, or maybe later on, whatever you want to take, at some point in the Anbu, Kakashi is above Mukai Kohinata, and Danzo, before he knows about Shisui's MS, thinks that the combination of Itachi and Shisui, 11-year-old Itachi and, 14, 15-year-old, we don't really know how old he is, but a few years older than Itachi, Shisui, he is already established as Shisui the body flicker, so like he is established, but he thinks that combination of those two is unparalleled compared to the rest of the Uchiha clan. Like, nobody can stand against them. So that would put them above Fugaku. Well, you know who beat the absolute crap out of those two until...
I'm gonna make a quick thing on that though. Itachi acknowledges Fugaku as the worst opponent because Fugaku having the MS and being strong or whatever. Like, he literally acknowledges him and is flat out like concerned that's gonna be the most problematic battle he's gonna have. So it wouldn't just be an easy wash. I'm just putting that out there. Now, if Shisui was involved, then that makes a little bit more sense because it's 2 now, and I think that would definitely be too much for Fugaku. But I just want to kind of put that out there. Fugaku's no sleepover. He was very strong, but
Gekyo, Mukai Kohinata, the guy that Kakashi's above. So if you think that Fugaku is a Kage level combatant, and if you think Danzo is right about Itachi and Shisui being above him, then
I don't.
That means that Mukai being above that combination and Kakashi being above him puts him like firmly in the Kage level tier. So then you have to ask yourself,
Check this out.
don't
I'm
think
going to
any
show
of
you
that,
how
but
I
okay.
afforded this car. Okay, you ready? All right, $118.
do we think that the one-shot manga version of Minato is Kage level? So, I mean,
Easily.
it's kind of ambiguous here. Minato is obviously super impressive. And if you take that scaling, I would say that Kakashi probably has an advantage because, he'd have to make up the gap that's in place.
So I'm gonna stop it right here. He's blatantly like, bro, this is around the time where Minatos is being praised upon praises. Like the Child of Prophecy, creating the Rising Dawn, doing Flying Raijin. He was the reason why they all survived. Mind you, fucking Jiraiya is a legendary Sonin. Well, he either was or he wasn't at that point. But either way, Jiraiya is still fucking strong. Jiraiya is blatantly Kage, and Minato's over here saving all their asses and shit, and you name it. So this is without a question that Minato would be Kage level at this point. So I don't know about the confusion there, but and with the whole advantage with Kakashi, I disagree with that. I would say it's actually the opposite. We know Minato is always
Nine Tails is like a high Kage opponent, isn't it?
Fucking the full Nine Tails is fucking up there with fucking Madara and Hashirama, bro. But
So like being able to compare it to them is like impressive, and then you got like Nine Tails like saying like, oh, like Minato's like on the same like compatibility of like Hashirama.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like fucking, there's just so much. Like it's just blatantly, consistently stated several, and so many times that like Minato is just ridiculous, right? Like whatnot. So I don't know about all this, bro. Fucking should blatantly be in favor for. It should be the opposite, basically. I don't know why I say saying for Kakashi and whatnot, but because Anbu Kakashi, yeah, he was strong and whatnot, but he would still struggle against fucking Jonings and shit. Like, bro, he struggled against that one mist dude that Orochimaru created, which is just blatantly Joning.
He struggled against Sabza.
Yeah, that, but fucking Orochimaru, when he was injured, fear hacks him, and, like, he couldn't do shit to him. Like, he blatantly wasn't, like, even, on the level of Orochimaru. Like, he was still just Joning, whatever. You see that even with Zabuza and stuff, too. So, I don't know. I feel like there's a blatant and significant power gap between the two at this point in time. But that's just me, though.
Say, like...
And I'm hoping Six kind of leans on and says all that too, because Six made a fucking video about all that, about where he thinks Minato's at and how impressed he was because of the one shot, you name it too. But
in the pain arc is whenever he gets to Kage level, quote unquote, but it's only with Kamui, then his physical abilities back then would have to be so much more superior to what they are in the Pain arc, like to make up the gap that Kamui creates, if that makes sense. So I would say if you take that high-end interpretation, you can make an argument for Kakashi winning this, but Minato is also super impressive in the one shot. Like, he's able to potentially counter a Bijou bomb and all kinds of crazy stuff. You would kind of talk about like where he may scale at that point in time.
Yeah, so obviously the Bijou bomb Minato clashes with is not complete. We all know that. However, it is still extremely massive. It's way bigger than the one that Four Tails Naruto shot.
It's also the same size that was shot at Hashirama, by the way. Just putting that out there. It doesn't have to be complete or incomplete. What this right here was the same fucking size that he did at Hashirama. FY. Deadass. You can literally compare and contrast it and look it up.
And it's bigger than some of the ones that the other Bijou shoot in that.
And this is full Nine Tails.
And in the original Naruto manga. So Minato does clash with this incomplete Bijou bomb. Like I said, it's still massive, but he also has nerfs on his side as well. He's got a hole in his stomach.
Yep.
One. And
Poison.
Mental escape. And on top of that, he just learned the Rasengan.
Yep, and he's severely fatigued. He just did his training with the Rasengan. So.
Yeah, and he's poisoned, like you said, because that chakra poisoning.
Yep, chakra poisoning, hole in his body, and fucking fatigue, and he does all that. So, again, he is way beyond Kakashi. I don't want to hear this shit.
It's not fair, I think, to say that, okay, these two scale to each other just because they both have unquantifiable nerfs. I'm just saying it's still impressive on Minato's side, even without this being a fully formed Kurama Bijou Bomb. And obviously, when the Bijou Bomb explodes, that's its real power and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I also think it's probable that...
Like, bro, Kurama was trying to fucking kill Naruto with a Bijou Bomb, and Killer Bee had to save him. The Bijou Bombs are still crazy in that realm. That's another weird shit people like to fucking do. But like, oh, it's in this realm and blah, blah, and so it doesn't scale yet. That's bullshit. If things were just like not a fucking problem or things didn't matter, whatever, Killer Bee wouldn't have had to intervene to save Naruto when he was fighting half the Nine Tails. Kushina wouldn't have had to help Naruto as well. So the Nine Tails is still no fucking joke in that realm. And he's over here fighting the Fool. Like, that's a big deal. Like,
in that clash. Maybe the Bijou Bomb did finish forming, because, Kurama was forming it, obviously.
Yeah, that looks complete to me, by the way, but anyways.
The chains didn't stop him from forming it, and it was still forming when they were clashing. But Minato obviously won that clash. If he didn't win that clash,
he would have died.
He would have taken over Kushina.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
and another thing, like, he's got like literal Nine Tails chakra. Like,
and another thing, the whole point of him creating the Rasengan was because of the Bijou Bombs. That was the whole reason why he created it. It was for him to literally fucking counter it, basically, against that shit, Because he wanted to.
The original idea was to give it to Kushina to use because of her massive chakra supply.
When I read the one shot, it was stated, it was explained why he did it, and it was to counter the beat, in order basically it was also in correlation to Kushina as well. I don't know about the whole Kushina learning it, but I just know it was because of the Bijou and her. So, but that's about it. That's all I remember.
Here in a second, but I could have sworn I remember him saying that it was a weapon meant for her.
And that can make sense, yeah, because she's a Bijou, a Jinchuriki, yeah. In correlation to her, yeah.
Because she'd be fighting other Bijou, so it doesn't counter what you're saying either.
Yeah.
So that still would make sense for it to be a counter to the Bijou Dama, because, she is meant to be a weapon to fight other Bijou.
Either way, Bijou Bombs and a Rasengan is way superior than fucking Raikiri and Chidori, too. So there's that as well.
Yeah.
People forget about
and that's not even him also having incorporation flying Raijin if he needed to as well. So yeah, there's no way Kakashi's winning this. I don't.
Nine Tails chakra, just to scratch from it, was able to paralyze Sakura for a little bit. So he's got that working against him as well. It is a.
So they do bring up the poison. That's good. Okay.
The Bijou Bomb scales you, but go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, the point of it all was just to say Minato is still extremely impressive, and obviously. This is where you get the statement, the controversial statement that Minato is maybe as powerful as Hashirama according to Kurama. I know there's some translation stuff on that, so I won't say he is as strong as Hashirama. Obviously, if he was, Kakashi loses.
Bad.
But that's another statement for his potential. You know, Karama can see this.
Either way, regardless of the interpretations, trends, and what the fact that that's even remotely there, again, this just makes this conversation not relevant. Like, I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Like, Kakashi has nothing for shit like that, bro. Nothing. Nowhere near that. You know? Like, I don't know. That's all I'm saying. But
14-year-old, 13-year-old kid, and he's like, hey, this guy's got potential to be strong like Hashirama.
Yeah.
So it's just another thing to bring up. I mean, this is just extremely impressive here.
Yeah, so honestly, like, the scaling for both of these versions of these characters is really ambiguous. I think if you take a high-end interpretation of Kakashi and you take that chain scaling, I think it's a pretty good assertion, because I'm not entirely sure if, like, we can get this version of Minato all the way up to, like, mid to high Kage level yet. And he also, like, he's not as proficient with the FTG at this point in time, it seems, because he has to, like, use hand signs and stuff to teleport and all that, but he is still really impressive.
Fun fact, he always does hand signs. That's just, I'm just being honest with you. That's always been a thing. He did that against A, he did that against Obito, he does that as a fucking teen in the one shot. The only time he doesn't do it was in the war arc. So.
And if you take, like, a more middle ground interpretation of these two, I would say Minato should win. So I personally, I'm going to leave it up to you guys for the most part, but I will lean Minato in this.
Okay, so
he wants to say Kakashi wins.
No, he says Minato. He said he leans towards Minato. What's it called? But he
said he'll leave it up to the audience.
Yeah. He said he'll leave it up to the audience, but he does lean towards Minato. That's what he said. But
he really wants to say Kakashi.
Oh no, yeah, no, you could tell he does, yeah, like, but because he's still like saying that it's like very contentious, like to where like you could probably just say Kakashi, and again, nah, with everything like we know about this and discuss whatever, Minato is leagues away. Like this is blatantly. I could let go of the kid to kid, that's fine, but this, come on, nah, man.
Like, his talent assertions, like his lore implications, all of that stuff tend to be better.
Exactly.
If you do take that chain scaling that I used, then you can argue Anbu Kakashi above him as well. Do you have any final thoughts on this one?
Stitch Fix is so convenient. You go through the style quiz. What is your fit? What's your style?
It's upon you to decide how much.
I mean, yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you said. Like, if you take the absolute highest assertion for Kakashi, which, I mean, you know, it's a bit of a high ball, but if you take that absolute...
Yeah, at least 6 sees it, too, because that's... And nothing but love to Sage, but he tends to do a lot of high ball scalings for Kakashi. And that's why I can never really fall in agreement with certain things when it comes to Kakashi. Because 9 out of 10 times when it comes to Naruto, we're normally in agreement. But when it comes to Kakashi, he does a lot of high balls. That's just me personally, and even 6 announced it as well. And that's why there's disagreements. Like, he has the high balls he has for the war arc is even more crazy in my opinion. But yeah, so I'm not the only one.
You could say Kakashi possibly has a higher assertion, but I do think that there's argument for Minato there, just because he does clash with that Biju bomb. It's just so unknown what that clash actually entails. Because it's an incomplete Biju bomb, even with the size and all that.
Yeah, I totally agree. So, out of the first 2 rounds, we are 1-1, and we move on to the 3rd round. And this one is no easier to discuss.
What?
We have War Art Kakashi versus Hokage Minato. And we are going to be taking all of Kakashi's feats from the war, pre-DMS. Okay. So, keep that in mind.
Yeah, I'm glad they kind of did this, though, because, oh my god, they talk about this for a while. Damn. I don't think it's that complicated, but anyways, what's it called? Because all the other versions makes absolutely no fucking sense, and they clearly knew that. So, all right, I'm glad they did that.
Are they giving Minato Sage Mode?
I don't know what they're doing here, but either way, all I'm gonna say, Kakashi doesn't win. His Kamui is the same speed as fucking Obito. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Minato got out of that. Minato got out of that several fucking times in a Ninetales incident. Flying Raijin is a hard counter to Kamui. It's literally the only thing that can fucking counter Kamui. Like, so Just saying, you would
He's
need,
actually worse off than Obito was because he can't protect himself the same way Obito could.
and that too. You know what I mean? So like, not only can Minato counter it, but on top of it, what's it called? What was the thing? Fucking, it's over here. Like, I'm losing it. Fuck, I forgot what it was. But either way, yeah, it's just a hard counter to Kamui. There's just really nothing he could like. And Kakashi's at least physical stats are not on fourth Hokage Minato's level. It's absolutely fucking not. They're like, it's just blatantly not the fucking case. And it's for many, many reasons. You see it in the beginning of the fucking war where he's fighting against Haku and Zabuza, whatever, and all these other Jonin ninja, like the legendary swordsman and shit, whatever, blah, blah. But that's fucking a cakewalk from Minato. And while Kakashi was struggling with them, okay? So you have all that. And then you also have where he eventually is fighting against a very fatigued Obito, okay? And Naruto's also very fatigued as KCM, so none of that fucking connects, okay? Like, bro, you had fucking base guy fighting blow for blow against Obito. You really think base guy scales to Obito like that? That means fucking Gates guy would be the strongest, you know? Like, so that's, come on. But anyways, so overall, like, there's just tons and tons of things and feats of where it puts him at. And then the worst part about it too, with Kakashi versus Obito, that was blatantly shown to where the reason why Kakashi even accomplished that was because Obito literally says verbatim he wanted him to put the fucking hole through his chest to get rid of the shit Madara had on his heart. So like he didn't even win that fight. Obito was literally just playing and making very convincible, and then basically lured Kakashi to do what he wanted at the end of the fucking day. And that's why he was even able to become the Jinchuriki. He had to get Kakashi to do that in order to do that. So there's just, because I already know, I think Sage thinks that way and agrees with it, but there's also some others too, but they all think like, oh, he scales to Obito, or he's all this stuff, whatever, or just like these crazy levels of power, and that's just not it. But that's just me personally. He does have really good Kamui feats. Like that's really impressive and whatnot, but again, Flying Raijin is a hard counter to that. Like, Flying Raijin is ridiculous, bro. Like, the guy, helped Ace-Gate Guy against Yubi Madara. Fucking, he did all kinds of fucking things. He even surprised Yubi Madara when he appeared next to him out of nowhere. You know, but then when it came to him using his physical stats, he got fucking bitched in Sage mode, you know. So, like, overall, like, you know, the Flying Raijin's a big fucking deal. You know, it's very, very, very fucking strong. So.
And if you want to count their entire arsenals, at some point in time, and this is something a lot of people don't like to remember with Minato for some reason, is he has the ability to summon any of the frogs that he wants. So, like, at any point in time throughout this fight, if, like, he felt it was really necessary, he could drop Mon
as a distraction.
And then put on Frogs on.
Yeah, bro, the motherfucker could teleport away, get Monpa and the soldiers, come back, and now he has permanent Sage mode, like Jiraiya. But he would have perfect Sage mode. You know what I mean? Because that's the problem. Like, him doing it by himself, he says, oh, he's bad, whatever, and it's not really as effective as it should be, whatever, yada, yada. But if he has Ma and Pa on his shoulders, that motherfucker's set. Like, look at Jiraiya, you know? And that was incomplete, you know? So, like, yeah, there's just many ways he can go about it. But, personally, that's just, again, Flying Raijin, that's an extreme hard fucking counter.
You want to talk about this one?
Yeah, okay. We went through a lot when covering this specific topic whenever we were talking about it, because there's a lot to do with Kakashi here. So there's a certain point in time during the war.
Oh, also, my bad. Also, most of the crazy feats that Kakashi does with Kamui was when Naruto gave his Nine Tails chakra to him as well. That's another thing a lot of people fucking forget and don't mention. So,
coming extremely impressive. You know, he teleports B. There's one point in the war.
Yeah, he needed he needed Nine Tails chakra for that. So again, like that's what I'm talking about. Like I don't like when people start bringing up because it causes a fucking misconception of things. He could not do that without the chakra. That's bullshit.
Like, you know, fuck it. I'm getting rid of the 10 tails. I'm just taking the 10 tails out. So we're like, why? What's wrong with? Why is he so confident? Why is he so strong now? There's a point where Kakashi gets Kurama's chakra. And originally, you know, everyone says about it is Kakashi has 3 times his normal amount of chakra. That's not necessarily true. What Kakashi says about Kurama's chakra is that it made his Kamui output 3 times larger. Now you could say, derived from that, that would mean that Kakashi's actual chakra supply was 3 times stronger, but I don't think that's what it implies. Sage broke down to me, hey, Kakashi uses 5 Kamuis prior to getting Kurama's chakra, right? And if it's the case that he used 5 Kamuis before, obviously with 3 times the amount of chakra.
All these number shit they're trying to do is not even relevant. The most Kakashi could do, it's blatantly stated, and it was even shown, and then Obito counters and says, hey, I'm not going to let you fucking do that. He literally tries to Kamui the Geto statue's head. That's all we know, bare minimum, that he could Kamui. It's apparently, and that's allegedly. We don't know if he could, but maybe he could do that because he says he's going to do it, and then he tries, but then Obito stops it. So that's all we know without chakra, but with chakra, then he's doing all these crazy ass fucking shit, like the 8 tails, or then even saying, oh, I'm gonna get rid of the fucking 10 tails and blah blah, you know.
Be able to use 15, right? But this one Kamui taking the 8 tails and then pushing him out, that took him back down almost to 0 again. So I think it's more along the lines of Kakashi got 3 times more powerful, not necessarily 3 times the amount of chakra, sort of like a chakra potency thing. And when he gets the second cloak, it actually sort of backs this up, because he's like, hey, there's more of this chakra and it's stronger. So like the chakra is stronger and he's got more of it this time. We do see, you know, whenever Obito comes and takes Kakashi, he like absorbs the cloak off of him, or however you think that went down, whatever. So there's a point in time in the war arc where Kakashi has 9 tails chakra. So bear with us, because that, when we're saying Kakashi's doing these impressive things, is because of that, or more than likely because of that, as well as a mental debuff that you can go over. It's like, it's your argument. So
yeah, so essentially prior to receiving Naruto's chakra, he uses Kamui 5 times, Raikuri's variants 8 times, Mud Wall, Shadow Clone, all that stuff. So like he is super impressive prior to, and like a couple of those Kamuis are like high speed, crazy precision, like sniping a Rasengan at a KCM1 Naruto's hand, warping away a KCM2 Naruto clone, all super impressive. But then, you know, being able to warp away Gyuki and then spit him out of his eyeball is absolutely bonkers. So, like, there's a clear delineation between, like, the size of the object that he can warp and how quickly he can warp it, etc. But the problem is, yes, he gets 9 Tails Chakra, and then he does this crazy stuff, and then it seems that Obito absorbs it. And whenever they get into the Kamui dimension, he doesn't have the cloak on him. But as Six pointed out to me, like, the first time he gets Kurama's chakra, he doesn't have any, like, physical features or a cloak or anything either. So it's like, we don't really know how much chakra was absorbed by Obito here. We have no idea.
I'm going to say this. We don't even know if the chakra was absorbed. I'm going to be really honest with you. There's a lot we don't know with this. Because when he first gets the chakra, there's no fucking cloak on him. There's literally, like, when he first gets it, it's when Naruto grabs his hand. The moment their hands touch, Kurama gave him chakra, and then it goes from there, whatever, blah, blah. And there was no cloak, no nothing. And then when he gets it again, that's when he says, oh, it's a lot stronger, and you can actually see the cloak, whatever. And the next thing you know, Obito's touching him. Now I don't know where the cloak's gone, and then they go into the fucking thing. So either it just disappeared, or Obito fucking absorbed it. But we don't know. Like, that's kind of what the fucking problem is. But
like, he just absorbed enough to take the tail away, but Kakashi still has 9 Tails chakra in his system, like, kind of making up the difference between him being at 0 and then him being at whatever you think he is here. But there's also the aspect of, in the 4th data book, it talks about the moment the darkness is lifted from him, like this depression nerf essentially he's had his whole life, is in the fight with Obito, specifically when he resolves himself to kill Obito. So what you could argue is Obito took away all the 9 Tails chakra, and then whenever Kakashi resolved to kill him, that mental debuff was removed because the darkness or depression or whatever was lifted off of him. And so everything that happens after that is all Kakashi. What you could also argue is that he might still have a substantial amount of Kurama chakra because he doesn't have to be showing a cloak or even any physical features whenever he has it. So it's super unclear where he's
yeah, I'm sorry, but we're getting into a lot of really unknown territory, and this is just playing the guessing game, and I don't scale that way. You know what I mean? If I don't scale with what we don't know, you know what I mean? Because then that's, you can't fucking scale, you know what I mean? Because you don't know. That's the problem. So, like, I think
anyone can argue with possibility.
Exactly. So, like, I feel like to make this as simple as possible, Because even with the whole fucking nerf thing, suppression or whatever, okay, then where does that get him at? Or what is that, like, again, this is just the whole unknown can of worms type shit. So to keep this as simple as possible, they should just be doing War Kakashi of how he performed at the beginning of the fucking war, and without any fucking help, whatever you name it, okay, and then just consider what he did during the middle and the end of the war. You know what I mean? Like, I think that'll just basically keep it as simple as possible. Or if it ever gets to the unknown territory where you don't really know what he's capable of doing, that shouldn't just be discussed at all. Like, who cares about the middle or end of the war arc? You know what I mean? Things like that. Because we just don't fucking know, right? Because that's the problem. With the multiple times he gets chakra from Naruto and everything, you name it, whatever, like, the problem is everything's unquantifiable. We don't know any of the levels of chakra from anybody. We don't know what the fuck is... there's only so much we really have. Everybody, the power levels are fucking everywhere right now. You know what I mean? We don't know if he's low. We don't know if he's finally back to where he was. We don't know shit. So really, it's literally impossible to actually scale Kakashi in the war competently of how really strong he would fucking be, because there's just so much we just don't know. We would need statements or data books to actually really give us the answers for it, and then be able to competently gauge. So, like, when it comes to the middle and end of the war arc, I'm going to be really honest with you guys. You can't really include that in the versus battle because it's not fair. We don't know what he could actually really fucking do or not. Like, that's kind of like the problem of really what I'm getting at. So basically, you could just dismiss it all as a whole, and you would only include the beginning of the war arc. And if you do that, then it's clear as day that Minato takes it. But let's say if you want to give him all that shit, and you just like, fuck it, you want to give him, all that stuff where you can Kamui big things, or even go into the Kamui dimension, or Kamui Madara's truth-seeking orbs and shit, or whatever, blah, blah, yada, 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 right? Even if you want to grant him all that, okay, we know that he can Kamui really big things, or he can Kamui, a truth-seeking orb, which that's not really impressive, because Gates Guy and Gates Lee can do that shit too. But anyways, what's it called? But either way, we know all that, but we still don't know the speed. That's the problem. We don't know anything with the speed of Kamui. That's where, again, it becomes very problematic, because sure, he's getting chakra or whatever. We know that it increases the size and output he can do to warp things, but we have no idea of what happens when it comes to speed. Is it faster? Is it not? We don't know. That's an issue. So honestly, again, sure, he could do big things, whatever, but Minato is still a hard counter, because the moment he's getting warped, he's flying Raijin and getting the fuck out of it. The only time Minato would be fucked is if Kakashi had both MS, where it's double the speed. And we know for a fact it is double the speed. So that's all I can really add here. I'm just going to let them go from this point. But I don't know if you have anything either, Ken. But
I don't have anything to add. I think you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. No.
So, like Six said, bear with us. You have to understand that both of these are possible. And so if we say that his Kamui might be too fast for Minato to escape from, you can't get mad at us. So
there's nothing regarding speed, though. It's just size. That's the problem.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
So I disagree with that.
But I think
that's not a possibility at all. There's literally nothing for speed. It's just size.
The fact that we get to see him potentially moving on panel at the same speed as KCM Minato physically, and then we know that his Kamui is based on his perception, which should be higher than his physical movement speed, you could make a solid argument that his Kamui might just be too fast for Minato to teleport out of. But we also know that Minato's got some...
Another thing, too, with that Minato thing he just brought up, that Minato was severely drained of chakra to the point where he couldn't even do Flying Raijin while being in KCM. So, just an FY, that's literally right after the fucking Vine shit. So, it also explains why Kakashi is moving at the same amount. I was always wondering... I was always wondering why, because when I first saw it, I was like, wait, what the fuck? That is weird. But then when I actually looked through and saw the fucking context and everything that people like to ignore, he literally lost a shit ton of fucking chakra from the vines. So, yeah, just putting that out there. So that's why Kakashi can move. Again, that's not impressive. But,
Minato is also an Edo, and we also
know
that
that's
those aren't as powerful as their live selves.
That's another nerf that he dealt with. So he dealt with two nerfs. The chakra drainage from the vines and an Edo nerf. So again, That's not impressive for Kakashi doing that. That just blatantly goes to show at that point in time, Kakashi's on a similar level, you know, because of the nerfs. So
crazy teleportation reaction feats. So how do you think the Kamui...
And that's another thing, I'm sorry, but Minato has blatantly speed feats of like fucking Guy running at full sport. Because mind you, they told Guy to not stop. They told him to keep going at full speed and do not stop and we'll take care of you. And he can teleport while Guy's moving forward, get the orbs, and teleport out. That is very fucking impressive. Again, Flying Raijin is fucking busted. So, if he gets hit by a Kamui, I think him being able to teleport with 6 individuals, like that is a whole other ball game. And more than anything that Kakashi could do with Kamui, and even Obito. They don't fucking have anything to be on that level. Obito, he was able to Kamui his body against Yubimadara from Taijutsu. That's also impressive. You know, so there's that too. But that's what I'm saying. Like, when it comes to fucking, like, things like this, like, it's just a whole other level of fucking power. So that's all I'm really getting at. But
I'm pretty sure Obito's Kamui's faster as well. Just because in the data books it's stated to be instantaneous.
Yeah.
You know, Kakashi actually has to build up the chakra
and then shoot it out. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. But so yeah, no, like with the whole body thing with Obito, that's technically different in a sense. And again, that's impressive for Obito, but it wouldn't correlate to Kakashi. Is what I was getting at, which is why Ken further explained. But with Minato, we blatantly have speed shit. Blatantly. It's not even a couple. The guy reacted to fucking a Biju bomb from the Ten Tails too, casually. So like, Minato just has a lot of good shit, dude.
Year 6.
I think that if we're talking about the actual activation of Kamui and like Kakashi or the thing teleporting into the Kamui dimension, that's extremely fast. Obviously though, that's going to be reliant on Kakashi's ability to perceive it before it happens. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. Like, Kakashi has to look at something, then he has to activate Kamui, and when Kamui happens, you know, it's immediate. It's gonna happen.
I'll say this. I don't think the perception is a problem, though. I will lean toward this with Kakashi because he was able to track KCM1 and KCM2 Naruto. So his perception is pretty good, with the MS at least. Not 3 Tomo, but the MS. So I will say this. If he's in 3 Tomo, he's fucked, okay? Like, it's an instant he's dead by Minato. But if he starts off in MS, which is another advantage we're giving Kakashi now, because Kakashi doesn't start in MS, that's even out of character. But let's say if he starts in MS, then yes, he should be able to perceive Minato in theory, because either people think Minato is KCM1 level in his physical speed, or they think he's KCM2. Regardless, whatever you fucking think, Kakashi can at least track KCM1 and KCM2. So there's that as well.
A big problem with...
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I was gonna say one more thing. When I say when he was tracking KCM2, that was a shadow clone as well, to be fair, which is 1/10 of the original's power. But you know, there's that as well. But.
Yeah, I was just gonna say if he does, even if we grant him the fact that he starts off the battle with MS, the MS drains him drastically. So if he were to do that, then the fight becomes a lot more of a he has to get it done quickly kind of thing, which could lead to mistakes.
He has to take like the first 2 shots. Like, it's really gonna boil down to like the first 3 shots, really. Like, because nothing else he's gonna be able to do is gonna matter, and he'll know that. Like, Kakashi knows Minato, you know. So he's gonna have to use the Kamui as a win con, and it's the first 2 or 3 shots that I'll give him, bare minimum. Maybe even 4 if I'm being generous, but between 2 to 3 that he has, and again, I just don't see him doing it with how fast Minato moves with his Flying Raijin. Even if he gets hit, Minato's just a hard counter. It's not fair, you know. Like, I could see it more with the Raikage because he's using body flicker. It's nowhere near as potent and as insane as a Flying Raijin. So maybe like, you know, Raikage's body flicker or even KCM Naruto, like that I could see Kakashi probably doing in time, maybe, you know. But Flying Raijin, dude, it's a whole other level of speed. So
I think that essentially early war arc.
Yeah, I love how it says, "Oh, there is no defense against his jutsu." Yet you completely forget about Obito and Minato. Oh shit! That's what I'm saying. Data books, you know, data books are data books.
There's a pretty much a concession on Kakashi's end that Minato is still stronger than him. Naruto comes in, kicks away 6 Biju bombs. He's like, "Oh my god, Minato, is that you?" And so, you know, it's pretty clear. Kakashi thinks that hey, Minato is stronger than him.
There's that as well.
And it kind of makes sense.
That's one of Ken's favorite scans, by the way.
Just tell Naruto, hey, you're the only person who can surpass the fourth Hokage, whatever. Right, but yeah, so there's like a concession on his end. Then he does that crazy feat where he sort of perception blitzes Obito with his Kamui. So I'm like, okay, well, while this is extremely impressive, the impressive thing here is actually for Kamui, not Kakashi's reaction speed or anything like that. So potentially, what I'm getting at here is, if Minato is faster enough than Kakashi to overcome that, then it won't matter. Like, yeah, Kakashi can focus on a single point, try to bring Minato into it, but if he can't actually focus on Minato because he's moving around, teleporting around,
this is the best device.
And I agree with what Six is getting at.
This is the best red light therapy device ever.
If that man even remotely struggles at all perceiving him, he's fucked. He's absolutely fucked. So
that won't matter. And then obviously, if Minato ever gets in on Kakashi and puts a seal on him, it's pretty much over with. Once Minato has a seal on you, he can tag you while he's teleporting to you with his Rasengan or with the Akunai or whatever. We know he did that to Obito.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to the later War Arc stuff, when we're talking about Kakashi actually has this Nine Tails chakra, I do think it's more probable that he does have this Nine Tails chakra and that the mental debuff that Sage brought up is also true at the same time, leading to him just being exponentially stronger later on in the war. Specifically because when we see Kakashi get Kurama's chakra, he's out. He's out of chakra. He's completely drained, and he's like on his knees, right? So when Obito does absorb the cloak, yeah, Kakashi loses the cloak. He doesn't have the physical features of having a Kurama amp or whatever, but neither did he when Kurama gave him the chakra when he was in the state that I just mentioned, right? So it seems to me Kakashi can have the amp, without the physical features, and he was out of chakra.
Yeah, the only problem is, the only problem with this, I agree with what he's saying, but the problem, we don't know if Obito absorbed it. That's the problem. We don't know. If Obito absorbed it, then none of this matters, because again, we don't, blah blah. And another fucking problem, it's still unquantifiable. We still wouldn't know where Kakashi would be in power at this fucking point. Yeah, sure, he has chakra and the whole like nerf suppression thing, maybe if that's gone, whatever. Again, we still don't know where that gets him. That's the problem. So like it's just a lot of unknown, and then what makes this even worse is fucking Obito flat out admits that he let Kakashi win. And because he has a Rinnegan, bro. He didn't use any of the Rinnegan abilities. He's not, you know what I mean? Like, so, bro, like, this is just, it's just not, again, it just doesn't look good for him, bro. That's all. And mind you, Kakashi is my favorite character. I'd be the first one in his corner if there was anything remotely rational or logical immediately, bro. But because there's a lot of uncertainty or a lot of, whatever, or I can't just sit here and be like, oh yeah, Kakashi has it, and therefore, there you go, right? It's not how that works. And this Obito is not at full power. He is very fucking nerfed. So that's another problem, So there's just, again, in me personally, there's just really no way to really gauge anything from what he does at these points. But
Kurama gave him, his own chakra. So if Obito took all of Kurama's chakra away, Kakashi should be back on the floor or back on his knees, unable to move. And we know you don't necessarily generate chakra quickly, and specifically in Kakashi's case, because when he overused his Sharingan against Zabuza,
I don't know about that one, Ken. I don't know what you think about that either. Not necessarily that he'd be back to zero, because he could have got a lot of fucking chakra, which is basically refilled like his gas tank, but also has it even more over, right, than what he typically has. So meaning, like, even if he lost the cloak, it at least puts him at either maybe at mid-level or low-level, or maybe even close to where his normal power is, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean he'd be like fucking empty now. Like, we would have to know the quantification then. So like, I don't know about that either, because Naruto is giving a fucking shit ton of chakra to people, and he's encasing him too. So for all we know, that could have easily replenished his normal stats, But that's all I'm getting at, man. Again, it's just a lot of unknowns, dude.
Days, or he just needs to rest for a few days. When he uses it against Datara, he's in the hospital for a few days, or would be in the hospital if he had done that.
Yeah.
So I think it's far more probable that it's just Kurama Chakra plus the mental debuff. You know, that's what made him so strong.
Yeah. Well, and so in my opinion, I think if we divided like early war and late war Kakashi into two separate categories here, like with the divider being, you know, I guess that Obito fight, or I guess like whenever he receives a good amount of Nine Tails chakra, I would say early war arc probably loses.
In conclusion, all I'm saying, yeah, we'll obviously agree on the early war arc. That makes sense. What's it called? It's blatantly shown what he's capable of. But for the end or whatever, or the Obito fight, where I'm at is Obito was so nerfed, and even with the chakra steal, fucking it just even out the playing field, right? You know what I mean? Like, and Kakashi was just able to deal with that power. Or even worse, Obito is still restraining himself and holding back because remember, the whole thing he was trying to do was to get a hole in his chest, you know? So again, there's still a lot of like uncertainty. We don't really know. It could either be because Obito's nerfed, you know what I mean, and whatnot, and that's why he could fight him like that. Or two, with the chakra absorption, you know what I mean, and everything that the levels to playing field, and whatnot, and, you know, and things like that. Or again, Obito is just holding back, you know. So that's the problem. So again, like even with the Obito fight and everything from that point, we just don't know, and all we do know is what he was capable in the beginning. So there you go, right? You know, so like unless you can prove he actually scales to full power Obito, this doesn't matter, is what I'm getting at. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the fucking problem. Like, it doesn't matter. We know Obito scales to Minato, or better yet, Orange Mask might be even slightly over Minato because he at least had years to get stronger compared to Yellow Mask, you know? But you're gonna tell me a motherfucker that's controlling bee juice, fucking using his Genjutsu prowess, spamming Kamui, whatever you name it, using Rinnegan abilities with the rods to coordinate movements, so on and so forth. All this fucking shit, summoning the Ghetto statue. All this shit, bro. Okay? But he's not at full power. He's very fucking fatigued. He had to literally conserve his chakra so much, he couldn't even spam the Rinnegan abilities because that would fuck him up. That was also stated. So, you know.
He still would have to have enough chakra by the time this is over as well to steal the Nine Tails as well.
Yeah. You know, so like, again, like this is not a full power Obito. So just nothing connects. There's no scaling. So again, we just
even if it was a full power Obito, like he wasn't exactly trying to focus on Kakashi and them. He was just trying to get Naruto.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I don't think that he has, you know, quite the potency or speed on it to be able to do what he needs to do. But then whenever we get into late war arc, if he's able to physically like move at a similar pace to KCM Minato, which I don't think that KCM really gives Minato a massive amp, but you know, let's say like marginally better than his Hokage version, then his perception would be significantly above that, right? So then I think late war arc Kakashi would probably win, but early war arc Kakashi probably loses. Where are you at on that?
Yeah, I just realized I did that big yap session and forgot to like forgot to say it at the end. But yeah, I agree. Like early war arc, Kakashi is losing. I think that's pretty definitive.
Yeah.
And then late war arc, you know, Kakashi can do things like teleport away the whole 10 tails. I think, you know, that massive Kamui portal, hey, maybe he can catch me.
He's like, hey, dodge this, bro.
Yeah.
Like straight up. Okay, so we'll go ahead and give one to each character there, and then. And this, I don't even know if this is really worth talking about, but what I have in my notes right now is DMS or War Arc, like late War Arc, versus KCM Minato. I think it's a slam either way. Like if we have like DMS Kakashi versus KCM.
Well, yeah,
Minato,
obviously it's fucking 6 pounds. Yeah, Minato gets fucking cooked. Like, yeah, that's a no-brainer. Yeah.
It's a slam in Kakashi's favor. If we have War Arc Kakashi versus KCM Minato, it's a slam in Minato's favor. Where are you at on those?
I mean, obviously I have to. You know?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way I'm saying KCM Minato is beating DMS Kakashi.
No, it's bad either way. So, yeah, awesome. Well, guys, if you guys made it this far, thank you for making it all the way to the end of the video. If you are not subscribed to Six, you've been living under a rock or something, make sure to head over to his channel.
All right.
Let's get him up to 1 million.
So overall, what's it called? Because I know I told you guys I would do the whole trash or pass. For me, it's a pass. There's a lot of in between, you know what I mean, to where like, you know, I don't bought all that, whatever, blah, and then okay, yep, that's fine, whatever, great, you know, you name it, blah blah type things. It wasn't like the video was like the whole fucking time like, oh, what the fuck, and oh, what, you know, blah blah, and just like if I'm losing my mind type shit, you know. So it's a pass, but like I'm not gonna say it's like a fucking pass for like, you know, with, like as an A+ type shit, you know, because there was many disagreements here and there, but it wasn't just a completely disagreement type video. It wasn't a video that's fucking ass or track. Because come on, let's be real, it's Six and Sage, you know what I mean? Like they're not, you know, they're not fucking trolls, they're not sophist or, you know, or people that like to misconstrue and or bullshit, you know. Typically they're normally as transparent as possible. What's it called, you know, and they normally are competent. Is basically what I'm getting at. So overall it's still a pass for me, but yeah, but again, like just to recap, because I know this video is probably really long as it is, the kid stuff, that we definitely disagreed. The Anbu and Minato and all that, like that should have just blatantly been Minato. There's no reason for it to be that complex. And then the war arc thing, even the late end war arc of Kakashi and Minato, again, like there's just so much uncertainty. There's just so much we don't, whatever, blah blah, and then all the other things I brought into as well that just completely doesn't connect the scaling. That's what you have, right? And it is what it is. Like you got, like guys, you can't expect me to grant scaling for whoever the fuck it is when there can literally be context or reasons why that character is performing the way he's performing. It's one thing if Kakashi pulls up and Obito's right there, bro. He's at full power, ready to go, you name it, you know? And there's no state, what, and they just charge at each other and they fight and Kakashi's going blow for blow with this motherfucker, right? If that's what happened, then by all means, I would even say Kakashi beats Minato, okay? But that's not the case, okay? There's so much context, so many factors, so much uncertainty, okay? And it is what it is. So that was a big disagreement on my end. I was surprised that Six even leaned towards that as well. And then obviously the Six Pack shit is as simple as day, whatever, and cool. But do you have anything lastly to add, Ken, or what do you think?
I mean, if you're going with the tractor pass thing, for me, this has got to be a trash. They're wrong like 3 out of 5 of their things. One of them was like an easy one.
Okay, so you say trash. Damn. Okay. But either way, but as always, nothing but love to the two. Shout out to Sage. He's doing his thing. Same thing for Six as well. Again, guys, make sure to support. Check him out, whatever you name it. Even if you agree or disagree. At the end of the day, as we can all fucking agree on at the end of the day, is we all love Naruto, and that's what matters. And if you like Naruto, you're going to at least still enjoy watching it, regardless, whatever. Unless they're like constantly just doing some AIDS fucking takes or some bullshit, then you're probably going to be like, oh, fuck this guy and not watch him. But anyways, as always, guys, like, subscribe, comment as well. Let me know what you think. Babbing out. Peace.